Oh my God, Figueredo.
Hello, welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I hope each and every one of you are doing well today. Well, online leftist chatter and bickering once again rear its ugly head. And, right now, do we really need to do that when there's so much crap going on and when people who are more in agreement with each other than they are in disagreement? Do they really need to be snapping at each other? I am talking about Kim Iversen and Michael Figueredo of the Humanist Report. And anybody who's a fan of either of those, they're critical of the other, don't hate on me, because I actually listen to both programs and I take what I like from each program, and I, if I don't agree with either one on their particular take on whatever, it is what it is. And I can listen to Kim Iversen and agree with her most of the time, and sometimes I disagree with her. Same thing with Michael Figueredo. I can listen to him most of the time and agree with him. Sometimes I disagree with him. That's how the world works. And again, if you're in my audience and you agree with me, or if you disagree with me, it's okay. I'm thick-skinned. I want you all to think for yourselves. I'm not saying that like I'm condescending anybody, but I'm just kind of trying to state a point here is what I'm trying to do. And it's ridiculous what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some clips here from the Vanguard. It came to my attention today from the Vanguard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play from the Vanguard, and I'm going to give you my take on it as well. So, as I said, apparently Kim Iversen is threatening Michael Figueredo with a lawsuit. And I just got to say I'm beyond words. So give me a moment here. We will get everything started. All right. Take it away, Gavin and Zach.
At Humanist Report, you wrongly stated as fact that I dislike trans people. This is defamation of character, and I plan to take legal action. If I were you, I'd gather solid evidence of my dislike for trans to present to a judge. Exhibit A. Yeah, exactly. But, there's so much to say about this. For one, no one who's actually spoken to a lawyer announces their lawsuit on Twitter. So obviously Kim Iversen is bluffing here. She's obviously not actually going to probably sue Mike. She would not win that lawsuit. And the reason why is because what Mike did is not defamation. Now, you can have whatever opinion you want about Mike Figueredo. You can think that, anything you want. You can hate the guy. You can think he's wrong. You can think he's unfair. You can think he's vicious. You can think he's hyperbolic. You can think that he went too far. Any of those are valid opinions to have. That's totally fine to think that. I'm not here to tell you, what to think about Mike or his segment. You can watch it and decide whatever you want. But frankly, it is under no definition defamation. It is an opinion. It is an opinion about Kim Iversen based directly on statements that she made that Mike reacted to. Calling someone a bigot is a matter of opinion. Now, if Mike had said Kim Iversen is selling child pornography or Kim Iversen is a sex trafficker, now that would be defamation, and she could actually have a case there. Now, even real defamation is notoriously difficult to prove, but at least she would have a case there. Because again, that would actually be accusing her of something genuinely criminal, of which there is no evidence to back up, and that could genuinely hurt her career and hurt her character. But
I want to also share a take on this. Now, Kim Iversen says she's a free speech absolutist, and Mike Figueredo at times indicate that he favors censorship. This is from watching both programs and my for what I observed. Now, I disagree with Mike Figueredo's take on censoring, and I'm more in agreement, at least in rhetoric, when she talks about being a free speech absolutist. But when she's talking about threatening Michael Figueredo with a lawsuit on what he thinks are transphobic posture that he thinks that she has, and do I think that Kim Iversen is a transphobe? I actually don't think so. If I can think about it, I'll share my take on why I think it's a little over the top. But I just want to say that for Kim Iversen, I wish she wouldn't do this because it makes her no better than Donald Trump. And honestly, I don't like Bill Maher, but I thought it was bullshit for Donald Trump to try to sue Bill Maher over a joke about him looking like an orange orangutan. It's obvious that Donald Trump is not an orange orangutan. I mean, it is, and he might have an IQ of one, but he's not. He's obviously a human being otherwise. But the point I want to make is, don't be a hypocrite. I'm with you about the free speech position, and I don't like to see the left walking away from free speech. And I'm glad you're there to make that call for free speech. And thank you to Gavin and Zach because they do call for the protection of free speech too on their channel, the Vanguard. And when I'm finished, if I can think of it, I'm going to, not that they need any help, but I will put down their link, urge everybody to subscribe to their channel because I do think it's a good channel. So anyway, I'll let them continue.
But Mike is an opinion commentator, and he's never once stated that everything on his show is fact. He's never once stated that every opinion he has is directly based in fact. That is the nature of being an opinion commentator. And guess what? I have some insight into this matter because I am an opinion commentator. And an opinion commentator, by the way, that likes to throw around insults quite a bit. I mean, I'm sure you guys know, but Zach and I have attacked the character of many of the people we've talked about on this show. I mean, it's just part of the job. When you're a shit talker, when you're a muckraker, of course you're going to make attacks on people's character. And, sometimes those attacks aren't always going to be backed up with direct evidence or facts. Sometimes it really is just a matter of opinion. And guess what? We have a First Amendment. We live in goddamn America. We're allowed to say what we want about people's character. We're allowed to state our opinions about other people's character, even if other people think it's hyperbolic or unfair or whatever. And again, I can tell you this not just because I dole out this criticism, but also because I receive it. Every day when Zach and I look at our YouTube comments or our Twitter mentions, we see all kinds of deranged people throwing all sorts of slanderous nonsense our way, saying all sorts of crazy stuff about it.
And that's true. And when you're a public figure, be prepared for people to go and insult you. I mean, you don't even have to be a public figure. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a public figure now, but I'm just saying that before I even started this program, as a lifelong leftist, especially since I've been on the internet and just been keeping up with the news. I mean, and all that. I mean, going on social media, even before social media. And there's not hardly a day that goes by that some right-wing Republican crank is calling me all kinds of names and telling me why I am a piece of shit of a human being because I don't quite see the world the way that person sees the world, honestly. And you know, you can get ticked off all you want, and I have for years, and I'm getting a little bit better about it. But you know, that's just how the world spins, and you're not going to be liked by everyone, and that's just something that people have to accept. And you know, something I'm sure that Mike Figueredo accepts, and Kim Iversen needs to accept that, and everybody, whether you're Kim Iversen or whether you're Michael Figueredo or whomever you are, no matter what walks of life you're from, you better get behind that First Amendment, because let me tell you, the First Amendment is being attacked. Yeah, it's being attacked by the Biden administration with that disinformation governance board, that nonsense. But you know, when Kim Iversen said that she was going to go and vote Republican, and I think she said that in a she was kind of pissed off and exasperated, and she said that just out of having an irrational thought. I don't think she really means it. However, when she said that, you know, she needs to think twice about it, because if she thinks that Governor DeSantis is going to be protecting everybody's free speech, we got a governor down in Florida that wants to make professors register their political ideology in the University of Florida system down in there. And can you imagine what would happen if that was to happen in the United States, throughout all 50 states? And if the Republicans take over the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate in 2022 and maintain their majority in 2024, and you have a President DeSantis, and you have a Supreme Court, and you have the federal court system under Republican rule, I used to think that there might have been some kind of checks and balances that I may not like the way the country's headed sometimes in a more conservative direction, headed in a liberal direction. But, you know, sometimes the checks and balances sort of even itself out, even though my ideal of America isn't quite the way it should be. I'm actually genuinely concerned about fascism right now taking place. And, you know, honestly, it can happen. It can happen. Now, I don't think we're going to have Auschwitz happening. I don't think we're going to have Treblinka happening. I don't think we're going to have that in the United States happening. But what we could see happening, it could be something like Chile. It could be something like Spain under Franco, Chile under Pinochet, Portugal under Salazar, Italy under Mussolini, probably a lighter version of that. Or what Bolsonaro wants to do in Brazil. And that's a frightening prospect. And we need to be careful. And everybody needs to stop the partisanship and the I'm going to own the other side, and even I'm going to own people on my side attitude, because honestly, there are competing nefarious forces. They're trying to get rid of the First Amendment because they want to shut the other side up. They want to shut us up on the other side. I can guarantee you, Ron DeSantis wants to shut the Vanguard up. He does, even though he doesn't know who they are. He wants to shut up Kim Iversen. He wants to shut up Michael Figueredo. He wants to shut up me, even though he has no idea who I am, because he's a vicious SOB. So keep that in mind, my fellow leftists, those on the left who dismiss those who call for maintaining freedom of speech. We are in danger of losing our rights. Keep that in mind.
About us. Do you think that I fucking threaten those people, my critics, with lawsuits? Are you fucking kidding me? No, I take it on the chin and move on, because that's part of being a fucking commentator. That's part of being a public figure. That's part of being someone that speaks their mind on the internet. Is that you're gonna have to hear other people speak their mind about you. And to threaten legal action on your critics is just about the most thin-skinned, snowflake-ass bullshit that I could possibly imagine, especially if you remember the fact that this whole situation arose from Kim Iversen supposedly defending the free speech of Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin for dead-naming Elliot Page, and for being disgustingly transphobic on Twitter. She, made that the hill she wanted to die on and said, Jordan Peterson has the right to be offensive. Jordan Peterson has the right to his opinion, no matter how disgusting and offensive you think it is. This was a hill she decided to die on. And by the way, frankly, I agree. I think that people should be allowed to say what they want on Twitter. I think you should be able to be as vile as you want on Twitter. That's my personal opinion. I'm a free speech absolutist. But I'm just saying, I actually am principled in this regard. I actually support free speech, and that includes Mike Figueredo's free speech. That includes Mike's free speech to say whatever the hell he wants about the character of Kim Iversen. And again, that includes whether or not you think it's fair or not, whether he's being hyperbolic or not, whether he's being mean. All of these things are protected under the First Amendment, and if anyone actually has to have that explained to them, then you don't actually care about free speech. You don't give a single fuck about it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you. I 100% agree.
Yeah, I have so much to say about this. One, we have to talk about how patently absurd it is and how butthurt she must have been to actually tweet this, because as Gavin pointed out, probably not going to go through with this, right? Hemorrhoids stop when you're exercising, right? Strut, or run.
Sorry, guys, girls. I'm sorry about that. Okay, hold on. Okay, give me a second here. Shit. I'm having a problems here. Sorry about that.
That Humanist report.
Gosh. I flubbed it. Let me see. Sorry about that.
Aren't always going to be backed up with direct evidence or facts. Sometimes it really is just a matter of opinion. And guess what? We have a First Amendment. We live in goddamn America. We're allowed to say what we want about speech.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Hold on. Okay. I'm just gonna they pretty much said what they needed to be said there, and there's more to it. If you want to watch the video, I'll put the link down, and you can watch the rest of it later on. But the crux of the matter is this: that the First Amendment is for everybody, and we need to defend free speech on all grounds. And honestly, I mean, if we don't, I mean, there is a saying, and I think it should apply to free speech. And you can make the analogy in World War II, prior to World War II and all that with regard to what happened in Germany with the Nazis. What was the analogy? First, they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the socialists. I didn't speak up because I wasn't a socialist. They came for the Jews. I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Jew. And then they came for me, and by the time they came for me, there was nobody to speak up for me. You can make that analogy when it comes to free speech. And so, you could take an extreme case, and you could take some nut case, again, like Alex Jones, making his over-the-top statements and offensive remarks on his program. What he did for many years, and he still does it on his little InfoWars website. Otherwise, and maybe some weird off video channels like BitChute. But here's the thing about it is this: that the wagons can circle around, and it could get us at some point. And there's a whole lot of revenge politics out there. And I'm going to make it a little bit about left versus right, but we need to also defend the people we despise too from the other side, because we need to be on the side of principle. And when we are on the side of principle, those who are in the middle will realize we're the ones who are correct, and we're the free thinkers, and we're the ones that are actually, and we can control the narrative and win them over to our side in that regard. So we always need to err on the side of free speech, and it is my hill that I die on. And I'm very disappointed. I'm more disappointed with Kim Iversen in this particular case than I am with Mike Figueredo, and probably would not be otherwise. But as I said, I do not think that Kim Iversen is a transphobe. I do not think so for a second. The issue is so new to a lot of people now these days. It's as new as 20 years ago. Do you support same-sex marriage or not? And I remember this because back then, even a lot of my fellow lefties and progressives, there were some folks that were saying, well, wait, maybe civil unions. I remember people having that discussion even on the left. I'm like, no, it's got to be equality is equality. And you just can't sit there and make exceptions for equality. And then equality no longer becomes equality. I'm not asking for special rights. You're asking for equality. And now is civil unions better than, let's say, nothing, and it'd be like the 80s where it was a really toxic anti-gay atmosphere for the LGBTQ community? Sure, but when the Supreme Court says that same-sex marriage was protected as a constitutional right, that was a wise decision, and it's in danger now. Regarding you make that kind of analogy right there. So I'm same thing when it comes to trans rights. It's kind of new to a lot of people. It is new, but I told one person that I'm a very simple person when it comes to this. Human rights are human rights, and people are people. All people are equal, and people all ought to be treated the same and treated the same with respect. No special rights for people, just equality. And that includes trans people. They are entitled to the same equality as the rest of the population, no matter how small of in the population they are. Now, as I said, when I hear some progressives getting a little nervous about women's sports or whatever, don't fall for that trap, because that's what the right wing wants y'all to do. You need to, don't be nervous about it. You just tell them, hey, equality is equality, and be done with it, and make no apologies about it. I'm not asking you to be politically correct. You just say, you just support equality because it's not politically correct. You support it because it's correct. There's nothing political about it. It's just the right thing to do. It's every bit just as correct and right as abolishing slavery. And so that I just want to make that an issue. And I'm more class reductionist than I am ID poll per se. I know that's not exactly a wonderful thing to say in left-wing circles, but I stand for equality across the board, and I stand my ground on it. That's the hill I die on when it comes to human rights. Now, I don't believe in this over the top being obnoxious toward people that may have a different set of beliefs from you, but you stand your ground and you say equality is equality, and that is where you stand your ground. People can have odious views and all that. And so with Kim Iversen, as I said, I don't think she's right-wing like people claim she is or what have you. I mean, I do think that Kim Iversen has kind of a libertarian streak on some issues. And in that area, I can kind of relate. I'm not a libertarian, but I have a libertarian sensibility or libertarian inclinations. I think if I would have been a conservative, I could see myself being a Ron Paul style libertarian if I would have gone in that direction. But I mean, I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. I'm not into economic libertarianism. Just not. So, but I am a civil libertarian. I have been consistently that since been knowing about the concept. I've, since joining the ACLU when it was vilified in the 1988 campaign, when I found out what the American Civil Liberties Union was all about, and seeing how much rights that they have fought for. But I'm pontificating and all that. But anyway, here on the chat line, we have here John Masters. Let's see. John Masters says, Mike says she was. Yeah, and I disagree. I don't think she's a transphobe, but I think I know where she stands on women's sports, and again, I disagree with her positions and all that. So let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I remember. Hot retarded chicks. Hey, how are you today? How are you? Let's see. Kim can do no wrong. Oh, I know you're a fan of Kim. I understand that. So, and I like Kim as a general rule, but again, sometimes anybody can be wrong. I mean, even when I was a hardcore Bernie bro until very recently, I could tell you occasionally where he's done wrong, like bending the knee so quickly toward Hillary Clinton in 2016 and bending the knee toward even quicker toward Joe Biden. More mad at him bending the knee so quickly toward Joe Biden. I mean, just because he's less hateful than Hillary Clinton doesn't mean that you have to sit there and talk about his good friend Joe. Oh, of course he could defeat Donald Trump. I mean, I'm like, oh, in that particular case, love Bernie, but it's like, shut the fuck up, Bernie, in that particular case. But anyhow, if y'all like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We will have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel as a First Amendment absolutist. I encourage you to create your own platform because we are the muckrakers of our time. And of course, please feel free to subscribe and to this channel if you haven't, and hit that notification bell because we need to find an alternative to corporate media because corporate media has nothing whatsoever to offer us. Absolutely nothing. And until next time, I am going to say to you all, I'm going to wish y'all a great evening, and I'm going to play y'all some music. Y'all take care.